to the weekly card pull for the week of August 4th, 2023. It's me, Kirsten. Hey! And it's the It's Giving Mystical podcast. What's up? Let's see. 10 of Pentacles. How was that week for you? I really felt that experience, and I wonder if you did too, on some level, of being with family and noticing, or being with some community, maybe not even your family, but some community that is very familiar to you, and you kind of have a very established, familiar place in it. And then you sit there, and you sat there this past week and noticed how you have changed. Powerful we are. We are such powerful creators that as we change, the whole world changes with us. And I wonder what that was like for you. I hope that experience left you feeling, I don't know, proud of yourself, more capable, more full, more embodied. Just a greater sense of, yeah, okay, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Day after day, practice after practice, breath after breath. Opening, being so patient with myself, being so loving with myself. Self-love can sound so trite, but it's so important. I mean, the whole journey is to further open to who we are, further embrace the fullness of who we are, without shame, without conceit, without judgment, definitely without contempt. Just like you were built perfectly. You were built here for this show. You were built here to be this person, this incarnation, to sing this song. The more fully you can do that, the more fully you can embrace that, not the easier life is, but it's just a little more satisfying, a little more fulfilling, a little more full. That's the feeling in my body, is like this fullness, like filling out all of the edges. And so I hope that was your experience of the 10 of Pentacles, or in some other way you just felt the fullness of what it means to be part of a community, for better or for worse. Hopefully there was some color or highlight that was revealed to you that is a gift in whatever way, whether it's in the immediate or in the longer term, or in just the sense of, this is something for me to work with, this is something for me to see and understand and kind of roll around in my curious body, my curious being. The card I pulled for us this week is the 7 of Cups. I really feel the sevens in this journey of card pulls that we've been on staying with us. I feel this July energy, this idea of the mystery really staying with us. We've had quite a few sevens, so I'm curious because I don't think we've had the 7 of Cups yet. The 7 of Cups is, I'll review for all of us at home. Sevens are mystery. They are the sacred number. There is something about sevens that is transformative in a way that is unseen. The unseen is a huge part of the 7. So what does that mean? It can be a felt experience. It can be an energetic experience. It can be just kind of a mysterious transition, transformation, transfiguration that you didn't really plan for, you didn't really expect, you didn't really, set a path around, and yet here you are. The cups are water energy. It's feeling, emotion, love. It is this emotional body that we wear and carry with us. I always like to think about this idea of emotionality as something to witness, something to be with. The way there are no good or bad choices, there really are no positive or negative emotions. Emotions are truly sensation, and we have ideas about what we're allowed to feel, what sensations are allowed, what sensations are good, but there's really this, I don't know how this is going to read, but I'm just going to say it. A lot of the work I've done in Tantra is this idea of emotion running through your body like these waves, and how good that feels, whether the emotion is good or bad, air quotes again. The sensation that comes with it is just a sensation of fullness. It's a new avenue of exploration in your embodied experience. And there's something about that that's to be cherished and to be embraced and celebrated. I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but there's a truth to it that, the wave of an emotion is kind of a 90-second, 120-second experience. And that if we stay fully with an emotion, we can kind of track its peak, just like a wave. We can track its peak and its fullness, and then how it kind of fades away. If you've practiced Reiki, Reiki's similar, right? You can feel kind of this wave, this cresting, building sensation. And if you really practice Reiki, you practice channeling the energy because you want to sit with the fullness of that wave and you want to kind of feel the fullness of that peak and then allow it to fall away. And there's something about emotionality that's the same. And they say that really, if you kind of can just ride that wave of emotion, it never lasts longer than 90 seconds, 120, without transforming. I know they say 90 seconds, but for some reason I feel like you should give yourself that 30-second cushion into 2 minutes. But this idea of following the crest of it and staying with it, allowing it to build and fill out as much space in your body and your field as possible, and then watching it fall away. We get stuck on emotions because we don't feel safe in that wave, that cresting, until we clamp down. We attach story to it. We come up with some reason why this is not an appropriate time or why this doesn't make sense to us. The journey of the cups is a reminder of just emotionality as its own world, its own dimension, its own experience. The Seven of Cups is mystery around emotion, mystery around satisfaction, mystery around love, mystery around longing and yearning. The Seven of Cups is the classic line for that is like, all that glitters is not gold. All that glitters is not gold. Meaning the Seven of Cups is this really interesting moment. This is also a card that I loved as a child. This and the Strength card were really two of the cards that fascinated me the most. The main idea of the Seven of Cups is that you have been told these are the places where satisfaction lives. These are the places where you are going to find completeness, where you are going to find truly satisfaction, like that longing, that yearning, that aching desire you have inside of you. If you get one of these things, you'll feel better. If you get one of these things, if you get fame, if you get riches, if you get adoration, if you get victory, like the laurels, if they place kind of the winner's wreath around your head, if you reach the top, if you beat everyone else out, climb the mountain and you get to the peak, you will feel success. You will rest. Your aching, longing, yearning heart will cease to bother you. Fill in the blank for whatever you've been told. When I get there, my heart will be satisfied. My heart will rest. My emotions will calm and maybe dissipate. Like, I got everything I need now. I'll just wait here. And that's not the way it works. And I've talked about this before. I talk about this a lot in Circle. One of the things I learned from David Data and from that kind of lineage of Neo-Tantra is this idea that the feminine heart longs for union, longs for connection, longs to be loved, adored, cherished, longs to be seen for the unique, radiant light that it is. And every one of us, man, woman, whatever gender you identify with, there is a thread in you that longs to be adored for the light that you are, for the light that you bring to the world. That can feel really different in all of our bodies, but that's the general idea. There's this idea that, like, if I find the right place, if I find the right partner, if I am adored enough, then my heart will rest. And what David Data writes about this, which I think is so brilliant and such an important lesson, like I think we should teach this in elementary schools. Your heart, the feminine, they call that the feminine part of you in this lineage. Your feminine heart will always long. And you can have all the adoration, all of the fame, all of the accolades, all of the validation, all the perfect partner can show up and just be like, I am on my knees in adoration of the beauty you are, and I will tell that to you on the daily, and you will want more. The masculine, again, masculine coming from this lineage is their language. The masculine equivalent of that is, if I could just get a little more time, a little more money, a little more space, then I could rest. And we'll talk about that another day, because this card is really about that feminine longing. And it's this idea that the things I long for, the things I desire, which is really interesting, right? Because we're in this month where desire is going to take center stage. Say it again. Your desire is taking center stage. The concept, the platonic ideal of desire is going to take center stage this month. And so this idea that this card is speaking to desire, speaking to the longing of our feminine heart. And the world tells us, like, these are the things, like, gather these things, gather partnership, gather beauty, gather fame, gather riches, gather accomplishment, gather accolades, and then you will feel good. And at some point, we've all had that experience, or we will all have that experience, where there's the thing that we wanted most. I want this thing so badly. And you get it. And it might feel really good for a minute. And then there's like this like curiosity around your heart of like, but what else? What more may I have? What more may I reach for? The Seven of Cups is that card. And the lesson of the Seven of Cups is what the world tells you about what you want, what you should desire, what you should reach for, what you should attain, what you should accomplish, what you should value is not always going to, and probably rarely, be the thing that brings you true satisfaction. Referring back to David Deida, what he would say is that you will always yearn for more. You will always want more. So like let that go. Like let it go. Like there is no end to this. There is no finality. There is no arrival in this. Allow yourself to be as full of yearning as possible in this moment. Offer it as a gift to the world. Offer it as a gift to yourself. And fill yourself, like express and hold as much love in the moment as you possibly can. And just keep working on your capacity for that. Keep working on your capacity to be this kind of like thriving, alive, yearning, aching, love-filled heart. And that is the gift of the feminine in men or women, regardless of how you identify. There's something about soaking yourself, and this came up also in the August read, right? Soaking yourself in your own essence and being like, I'm just going to kind of like soak in the fact that I desire and I am alive and pulsing with desire. The Seven of Cups says, be there in as much fullness as possible. Kind of like suck up as much light and energy and adoration as you can from yourself, from the world, from the divine in this moment, and see what that does to your sense of satisfaction. See what that does to your sense of aching and yearning. Where does that bring you? And wherever it brings you is like right, like whatever the next step is, whatever the next invitation, whatever the next moment that meets you in the world, to be in that fullness all by yourself just because you get to, just because you can. And there's this idea that is its own satisfaction, and that also orients you. Another man that I've been studying with, just started to study with, who I think is really interesting, but he talks about, and I'll talk more about his work as I kind of understand it more, when you are in your essence, your fullness, when you are like feeding yourself from your own nourishment, that's where inspiration comes from that place. What inspires you, what the world is asking of you, what the world is calling from you becomes totally obvious. Like the world kind of will meet you. Inspiration will arise from that state of self-fulfillment, self-nourishment. It's a really interesting idea, and it ties in really interestingly with the Seven of Cups. Sorry, I'm getting a little wonky. I might be being a little like nerdy in this, so I hope it's tracking and I hope it's helpful. But I think it's a really interesting how all these concepts kind of weave together to land in this card. This is why I love tarot so much, because we're talking about all these schools of thought that you can really dive into and read and practice in, and you can spend a whole lifetime studying any of these lineages. And the Seven of Cups kind of holds all that mystery, all that story, all that information in its one little image, in this like very simple little image. And so the idea basically, like to try to simplify it, because I know I'm kind of going off on tangents here, the Seven of Cups asks you to fill in your own energy, to become aware of your own yearning, and to recognize the truth of what you yearn for, the truth of what you desire, separate from, away from what the world has told you. And that's it. And there's a maturation process there. There's a like self-awareness and self-trust moment that happens where you meet what the world has told you will bring you happiness. You find something lacking and you decide to put that down and maybe search differently for where your joy, your happiness, your satisfaction lies. That's the Seven of Cups. So this idea of maybe recognizing this week, what are the stories that you've been tracking are maybe not your stories, and where the true satisfaction that you've probably also been tracking, where that lies, and giving yourself more permission to go that way. And what's really interesting about this card is that the figure is, there's very few cards in the tarot where the person's back is to the observer, the viewer. This is one of them. Their back is not only to us, but they're blacked out, so they're like kind of a shadow. And you can read that lots of ways, but most beautiful invitation in this moment, in this reading, is to fill in that blank shape with yourself, to fill in your edges. And I will say that that is an idea that's coming up in my own practice, but it's coming up, I'm seeing it in lots of places, not just because it's what I'm practicing, because I think there's a moment in this of us taking up more space in our energetic field. It's interesting to think about your field as this place where other things live, right? The way that we're like a microbiome in our bodies, we're kind of similarly like this energetic biome where our ancestor stories live, and the hopes we have for the future live, and our traumas live, and the environment that we're placed in lives. And there's this sense right now that maybe that's part of our evolution, I'm not sure, but where we're kind of clearing out some of the old cobwebs, some of the old furniture that lives in our field, and we're taking up more of the space. We're allowing our essence to fill up more of the space. That feels like what's happening in the Seven of Cups week. It feels like it's what's happening in this card, and it feels like it's what's happening in this moment. The Seven of Cups is this beautiful permission to want what you want, and to trust what you want, and to move towards it with total faith, to move towards it without worrying if it makes sense, without worrying if the world gets it, but just moving towards it because you know it's where you need to be going. Without a sense that when you get there, you'll arrive, just a sense of, I'm opening. A woman in Circle a few weeks ago, she was talking about moving into a new space, and she said she wanted to unfurl herself into the space. I think about that all the time. That image has really stuck with me, and I'm thinking, she was talking about her like physical space, but I'm thinking about it from an energetic. What does it mean to like unfurl ourselves into our fullness, into our full energetic field? And what would it be like if everyone walked around that way? What would it mean if we all got rid of all the old furniture, all the old stuff, all the things that don't belong to us in our field, and we took up more space there, and then we moved from that place? That is the invitation globally right now, I think, but that's also the invitation specifically this week. I don't know, it's cool. Seven of Cups is, again, all that glitters is not gold. What the world tells you will bring you happiness is not always where your happiness will be found. And you have the right, you have permission, you have encouragement from the universe this week to walk your own path, to figure out where's my satisfaction, where's my dream life, where does my joy live? I'm going to go that way. I'm going to follow my instincts. I'm going to follow my fullness. I'm going to follow that somatic openness. Like, I'm open here, and I'm open here, and I'm open here. And anytime I feel myself pull back, contract, I'm going to stop and get curious and say, what's happening now? Why am I not allowed to take up as much space in this moment, in this breath? What's that about? I'm going to get really curious about that. And I'm going to look for places where I can kind of, okay, I see myself contracting. Why do I need? Nope, I'm good. And just unfurl again, or change directions, change places, and unfurl again. I really want to leave you with that sensation of you can take up more space even in your own field. What you desire, what you're reaching for is A-okay and right on time. That's cool. That feels really good. That feels much more of a meditative exercise than maybe like a factual physical exercise. But we're talking about the emotional body this week. And I guess that would be your invitation. Just kind of measure it. Notice it. Notice where your fullness lies. Notice the places you're contracting. Notice the places you're unfurling. And, navigate accordingly. Make decisions accordingly. No good choices, no bad choices. Just refinement, just more understanding, just more curiosity. Okay, Seven of Cups. Cool. I like it. I love tarot. I love you guys. I love life. I really do. I love being in this body, in this world, in this moment. And I send that transmission through to you. And I hope you're feeling it too. And if you're not, I have enough to share. So I offer you a little more, I just offer you like a hand to hold. Like, let's just try. Let's just see. Let's see what else is possible. Let's see how much more fully we can embody this moment, this life, this breath, this brief little incarnation here on earth. Enjoy it. Soak it in. Okay, I love you guys. Happy August. Check you later. It's giving everything is sacred. It's giving art. It's giving light you up and turn you on and set you free. It's giving curiosity. It's giving freedom. It's giving love. It's giving you are more magical and powerful than you can comprehend. It's giving, I don't know what's happening, but I am so here for it. It's giving you our pure potential. It's giving mystical.